all because they claimed I had ADHD. I was once told that I was a detriment to society. I was a danger to society if I didn't take my ADHD medication. That was really the end for me. Hey there, my friends. I'm Super Sid, the business shaman, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Life Coach Launch School. The Life Coach Launch School, we help people go out there and step into their dream reality, right, while getting rid of their limiting beliefs. And ultimately, in this video, I'm going to be talking about my journey of being told that I had ADHD ever since I was little by doctors that I was sent to, and ultimately, what was the one thing that I used to basically eliminate the ADHD out of my life that I was told that I had, to be a lot more focused, a lot more stress-free, and ultimately be able to go out there with zero anxiety every single day. In this video, we're going to be talking about when I was told that I had ADHD and ultimately the circumstances of that. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are similar in their circumstances, and like I had. We're also going to go over specific things that ADHD was doing to me. So signs that ADHD was getting out of control, or what they said was getting out of control, and specifically the wrong things that I did to try to go out there and combat it. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to go over the specific thing that I did. And this thing was not something doctors gave me. It was actually a very specific, holistic approach toward going out there every single day, going out there every single day, taking this ADHD thing head on, and ultimately being able to feel the best that I've ever felt my entire life, now medication free. Let's dive in. They say that we don't have a lot of memories when we were children, but there's some specific, and I'm not saying that I remember everything, but there's definitely some very specific memories that stick out. And one of the memories that I have that sticks out was when I was young. I was like a lot younger. I was, I think, around 10 or 11 years old. And, I was a rambunctious kid. I was extroverted like a lot of boys are, and just had a joy for life, just wanted to and you couldn't get me to sit still, right, as a child. But at the exact same time, it wasn't because I didn't know, but because of this, when I went to school, when I did things, people deemed that I wasn't able, right, that I couldn't keep attention, right, I couldn't keep focus. And so I was diagnosed with ADHD very, very young. I was actually diagnosed with ADHD after just going to the doctor and answering some simple questions that the doctor asked me. Mind you, I was a very young child. I don't even think I was 10 years old yet. And, I was taken to the doctor basically just because I was an extroverted kid. And then I was deemed to have ADHD at a very young child, and as a very young child. And ultimately I was told that I needed to take medication for it. So I took, obviously as a young child, you go to the doctor, you're just told to, doctor says, take this medication, you're going to feel better. And, that was kind of what I did. And as it progressed, I was put on things like Ritalin, Prozac. From what I remember, I was put on things like Ritalin, if they weren't, they were something similar to Ritalin, Prozac, and Adderall and stuff like that. And again, as a very, very young child, and what it did for me when I started getting on those medications was it actually would numb me out. Like, it was something that I really didn't enjoy from the get-go. And ultimately, I remember when I was on any type of medication, or it was that, or it was Involta, or whatever it was, right, immediately I felt like I would lose my edge, and I would lose instinct within my body. I felt like my entire body, my entire energy source, central energy source, was basically being hijacked. And I was unable, it wasn't like I couldn't function, it was just like I was numb, and I couldn't feel anything. And for the longest time, I felt like I couldn't feel it when I was happy, I couldn't feel it when I was sad, even though something would anger me, and I would do the things that would obviously, I'd clench my fist, or my heartbeat would rise, or whatever. I just simply wouldn't feel it. And even though regardless of if I should have been or I shouldn't have been, I personally did not like being on it. And but when I was told, I think as a lot of us were told that we have this thing, and whether you believe that ADHD exists or not, we definitely have our own opinion. But regardless, right, it was a symptom that they were saying that I was having. And at the end of the day, I just believe that I was an outgoing kid. And there's a lot of outgoing kids out there that probably do not have ADHD, but they are labeled with it simply because they are outgoing or rambunctious, and they just want to go out there and move and run around. And because they're non-controllable, right, or non-disciplinary, people might deem them as somebody has ADHD, ADD, whatever. And so at a very young age, I was then sent to go take medicine that I really didn't like, and I did it for a very long time. Really up through even my 20s and my early 30s, I was taking some sort of medicine because at the end of the day, I got hooked on it. And, my experience with this was I never felt, even as a young boy and before I was taking medicine, that I ever needed medicine. I never needed to calm down. And, through my experience of decades of taking this, it was actually always more of a negative than it was a positive, because personally, I feel like it harmed me a lot more, because it took away a lot of the energy source that I felt like I had coming from my natural body, because it would just numb that out, and I lost a lot of feelings. I lost a lot of, what I believe, emotional feelings that growing up, having could have helped me in a great way. All right, so I told you ultimately about how basically I was told that I had ADHD and how the whole process happened, how I got on meds and all that stuff, and what basically I was told to do, I guess deemed for the rest of my life, from doctors, to take medicine and ultimately look to tame this. And I just knew there was another way, and I knew that there were things that I could probably do, because at the end of the day, this antipsychotic medicine that people were that I was being put on for this ADHD thing was not something that I believed was helping me. And I knew that there had to be another way, because there was these same symptoms that they were saying that I had to have been had by other people, before me, before this medication even exists. And so I went on this massive journey to figure out what it was that I needed to do. Luckily, I'm married to an absolutely amazing NLP queen in Tiffany Toombs, who really kind of went through with me and put me on kind of like a 28-day fast of basically not only how to get off the medication, but ultimately how to go out there and live the life and step into the reality that I wanted to step into off the medication, knowing that I didn't have ADHD at all, and being able to handle the symptoms that I was told that I had even as a young child, and be able to step through that again into this dream reality, into this life that I dreamed of having for so long. And really the big thing through this entire process when I was working with Tiffany that really tied back to everything that I did was basically simply just being present. I think as someone who was told that I had ADHD, everything that I was kind of taught to was that my attention was unable to be focused on a singular thing for so long. So when I started looking at some Eastern medicine, and I started looking at some holistic ways that we could do things, some natural ways that, might be able to help me, was I found that a lot of this came back to simply just being present in the present moment. Now, when I first was told this as an extrovert, it did not mean anything to me, being present like I'm right here. But the big thing that really helped me with this was the concept of understanding that if I slowed down, I would actually speed up in the process. And so now, instead of just wanting to run around and get stuff done as fast as I can, I do my best to kind of slow my cadence in what I'm looking to do and really think before I act. And that's been a huge thing for me as well. Before, I would just say, okay, I gotta do these 20 things today or whatever, these 10 things today. I need to get all this stuff done, whether it be shooting this video or it be, going out there and following up with people, or it might be going and doing some stuff in our Facebook community or whatever, right? I might be doing, I would just do it unconsciously without thinking. And once I understood the conscious and the unconscious mind, and that I could, put purpose behind everything that I was doing, it helped me slow down. And by slowing down, I was actually able to look around me. Now, it's since moving here to the Smoky Mountains, and since being here, in this magical place, right next to the Smoky Mountain National Park here in Tennessee, it's also helped kind of accelerate that. So when I got started and we were in Dallas and I was doing this stuff, it wasn't easy at first. I really didn't know what I was doing, and ultimately it was hard. It was not easy. But then by moving my environment, putting myself into this environment, which is a very stress-free, anxiety-free, quiet, solitude, right? We're on, 97 acres. We're backed up, we're literally right next to the Smoky Mountain National Park here in Tennessee, and it's just peaceful. So what I was having trouble with in regards to my state of being, which was I'm starting to unconsciously get all this stuff done as fast as I could. When I took a step back and I put myself when I took a step back and realized that when I slowed down, it was going to help me speed up. It was going to help me get things done a lot better, a lot more efficient. But it was also going to help me be a lot more focused on what it was that I was doing. I wasn't just doing things unconsciously. I was thinking before I was acting. But then to kind of throw gas on the fire was we moved here. And the big lesson that I found about moving here was how big what your environment is does for you, right? Like my entire life, I was in a pretty chaotic environment. There was a lot of noise, there was a lot of ruckus, there was, everybody was coming and going all the time. Growing up, I lived in big cities, so like I've never had this type of environment, this quiet, this solitude. I didn't understand it. But when I got put into this environment, right, it became a lot easier to slow down because everything around me was slow as well. Now, some of you might be like, well, Sid, I don't live next to a national park, or Sid, I don't live on 97 acres, or Sid, I don't, have the ability to do this because I live downtown, or it's always thought, or whatever. Well, when I started doing this in Dallas, one of the biggest things that helped me early on was putting myself into an environment. We had a little spot in our house where we would basically deemed as our meditation area. And, we had like a blanket, we had a pillow, and, we have oracle cards and stuff like that. So like we were like pulling cards, and we were, and it was a place we did all of that stuff. We saged there. We did so much stuff there. And what I looked at doing was I would look at putting myself into a specific state. And part of that specific state was based on the environment that I was in. So I created this environment inside our house at the time when we lived in Dallas. And that little environment became kind of my safe space. And regardless of where you're at, I'm sure you can find a corner in your home like we did, where you literally can this is my safe space. When I step into this space, I'm in this energy. I step into this energy. I step into this reality in this space. Now here we have 97 acres to go into this, right? But no, we have like a lot of places outside. We have some places that are still set up here. So even though we have this space, we still have deemed a specific space when it comes to doing things like that. And things that I might look at doing when you are looking to create kind of like a space like that, kind of like, an energy space for you, like that when you're looking to, possibly get rid of a block that you might have, is I would obviously look for a quiet space, but look for a place that you can, I don't want to say personalize, but obviously is very comfortable for you. And really is a place that, you can do your best to kind of shield yourself so you can get that solitude if you can. So like that would kind of be my, my idea of, like I said, we had our little space. It was where we both kind of went in there at different times. It worked really well. And, it was very much our quiet area. But by coming here, it's kind of, I have quiet and solitude all around me. And it's really shown me again how much environment matters. So what I mean by that is I think we grow up hearing a lot that like who we surround ourselves with, or in our network is our net worth, like all that stuff we hear, but it's all based around people. Yes, I do find that to be true, but at the end of the day, I also feel like our state of being, our emotional state, how we feel, the joy we feel, the stress we feel, all of that can be very much anchored by the environment that we are in. So if you can constantly put yourself in an environment where a calm environment, an environment where you find peace and solitude, and ultimately allows you to slow down like it has helped me, I'm confident that's going to help you go out there and ultimately do the one thing, which is going to be stress-free, getting rid of the block. In my case, this block was when I was told that I had ADHD and I didn't know how to get out of it. But it's going to help us get out of whatever this block is, because ultimately we're going to be able to step into this energy portal, into this place, right, which is going to be the catalyst, or basically the spot that is going to help us step into that reality, into that person, into that being that is going to help us move forward, get over the stress, get over the trauma, get over the anxiety, whatever it might be that is blocking you back. And I hope that whatever that is, you go out there and you get into a routine, you find your safe space, you get consistent with getting into that safe space, and you do whatever makes you feel good. For me, it was meditation and reading. I loved meditation and reading. What might it be for you? Maybe it's listening to music. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's doing yoga. Maybe it's just sitting there and being in deep thought. Maybe it's sitting there and eating. Whatever that might be, what is it that you do, and what is it that you can find that can help you with that to get to ultimately slow down so you can speed up, but at the end of the day, be completely anchored in being present, because when we are present, we are acting. We are thinking before we are acting, and ultimately we're able to focus on what it is that we are doing. So maybe you're looking to clear a block, or maybe you're looking to go out there and find something like I talked about with what I was told that I had ADHD and how I got over that, and you're looking to get rid of that as well. Well, one of the biggest things that I talked about in this video was the idea of our body being in balance. And one of the big things about our body being in balance has to do with the nervous system, and making sure that nervous system is not only reset, but that it is consistently regulated, so that we can start stepping into basically the reality that we want to step into and get rid of those limiting beliefs and blocks that are holding us back. So we created this thing called the 7-Day Nervous System Reset. It's 7 exercises that helps you regulate your nervous system. It's down there in the description, and you can grab it right now for free. So just go down there into the description, grab your free 7-Day Nervous System Reset, start regulating that nervous system, and be on the path to starting to feel better and ultimately get over that block that might be holding you back. We'll see you in the next video.